Good morning, everybody. Good evening, too, depending on where you're at. Great to see you. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be reading today for Capricorn. This is the March 2020 reading. Apollo is sending you some kisses and love here. I'm going to let him get back to his meditating and nap right now, but so much coming through for your sign. I'm really getting excited about sharing with you all the downloads that I've received. So welcome, everybody. Great to see some familiar faces in chat. Thought I would start a few minutes early since everybody seemed to be here and was ready to get started. So myself as well on that. Let me talk a little bit about what's in store for today, how it's organized, and then we'll get into the messages, okay? First of all, I like to develop each of these videos so that you can use them for your sun, rising, and for your moon sign. So if you happen to know all those different parts of your chart, you can absolutely use it for that. You can also look on behalf of someone that you love in your life and who might happen to be in this sign, and that's perfect. Otherwise, just stick with your birth sign, and that's going to give you all the information that you need. Additionally, I would like to let you know that everything that you see here is something that you can also share with people in your life that you care about. So if there's somebody that you want to give this to that you think that they would enjoy it, then please, by all means, do that. And I'd like to also give you a quick heads up on the organization here. I start off with a channeled message. And this morning especially, I had a lot of information coming through, and that came through in a form of dreams and visions, and I'll be giving that to you in just a moment. Then we get into a Celtic Cross, and I've picked out a deck already for that. We'll look at the highlights and any of the challenges that are coming through for your sign as well. And then we get into an expanded forecast where we look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. And then after that is something special for these live readings, and that's a healing portion where we look at self-love, healing, and forgiveness. And because it's Mercury retrograde, I can actually hear I have a computer in the other room. I'm going to shut that off. I've been seeing technology issues with everyone. I am not immune to that. So give me 1 second to correct that. That's so funny. All right, thank you. I have noticed with retrograde complications with purchasing things at the store, with billing issues. And isn't it funny here, even that, like I was taking a look at something earlier and I'm like, I can hear myself in the other room. So this particular retrograde, that's a perfect example of that, is stronger than most, for me especially. Normally I'm kind of aware of what's coming and I just don't worry about it. But this particular time, I've actually seen a lot of information and a lot of energy around that. So actually, I can still hear it. Hold on, I need to turn it off completely. That's so funny. So one moment, I have a backup computer here and it's causing me trouble. Oh, okay, it's so funny. I was watching another tarot reader the other night too, and they were experiencing troubles, and I thought, that can't be that, but it literally is. All right. Now that we're through that, I want to welcome everybody and say thank you, special thanks to Ryan and Maria. They always keep things in a nice, organized fashion, even if there's chaos here or chaos there. So thank you both. One thing that I do differently than other readers is I don't really take question and answers during the session. So I know a lot of people will do sort of pick a card readings. That's not my style. What I like to do is really, because I meditate beforehand, I receive a lot of information that is going to be relevant to everybody. And in fact, this morning, I have enough information for about like 5 or 6 cards here. So trust me that there's a great amount of information about healing, about finance, and also for those of you that are ready to kind of make a change in a relationship, all that information came through. If you want to say thank you, something that you can do in this live reading is use Super Chat. And it's that little icon that's next to the emoji. I have a little screenshot here that I'll show you if you've never seen it before. This is a great way to send a sticker or just say thank you. And what I'll do is after the videos have been posted and are in a replay mode, then I will call everyone out in a thank you and just really express my gratitude. This helps me keep all of my decks up to date and also helps me kind of set up all of the production equipment that I need. So I just want to say thanks for all of you that support me. I give it right back. At the very end, I'll go into some information on how you can get involved and also book an appointment or join me on social media, all of that. But because we already had a little bit of technology snafu, I really want to get into the reading right now and talk about what was going on this morning when I was meditating and all of the information that was coming through. So again, this is the channeled information for your sign. What my guides were using today to convey the information was sort of a metaphor, and I had to decode the metaphor. And what I was looking at was sort of, it looked like a restaurant to me, and I was watching how everybody was working together. And the energy around the retrograde for me, I saw a fog coming through, and kind of like there was a mist from the kitchen or something. And so when we do your meditation a little bit later today, what I want to do is bring you out of the fog. I'm going to kind of bring you into a sunrise. I had a nice early morning walk with my dog this morning, and I felt that healing energy. So I think that's what we're going to work on for your sign to really help clear the fog. And then what I was focusing on when I saw that was, to me, it represented not just sort of the fog of retrograde, but specifically I got emotional energy with this. And I thought that it would be great if during this month you could find a way to vent, to kind of get rid of that energy in a positive way. So for some of you, this could be some sort of a creative endeavor in your life. For the rest of you, it could be doing something like, maybe even talking to a professional, a therapist, getting a way to sort of productively get that out without having it sort of explode. If you think of I don't really cook with them, but there's these things called pressure cookers, right? And there's a valve at the top that regulates the pressure within it. If you don't have that regulation, the whole thing will kind of blow up. So we kind of need to view this month as a pressure cooker. You saw me have a moment there earlier. I could let that freak me out, or I could just move on. And I think that's important with relationships too. You don't want to sort of let one moment let you lose your cool or your steam. You need to kind of regulate it. So I wrote down vent emotions, and that was what I was seeing. There needed to be some sort of an outlet for that energy. Then it wouldn't stagnate. And I could see it sort of like hanging around me and pushing up against the walls and the ceiling. The other thing that I was noticing was that everyone seemed to be so busy that they weren't cleaning things. So with respect to relationships, I think it's important to clear and clean the energy between you and other people. It's hard sometimes, right? Because we sometimes just see things through the lens of our own life, and you expect other people to just show up with the same sensitivity and the same desire to want things to be okay, and you're waiting for them to come to you and make it better. But I believe in modeling what you expect, and it's hard sometimes to try to break through and say, I feel like something's off, something's difficult, and I just want to make it easier. Is there anything you need to talk to me about? And then open it up. If they say no, then you've at least kind of offered the olive branch. So I said, clear and clean your life, your energy, your relationships. And I said, clear yourself first too. Because one thing that you want to do in going into these sort of engagements is to make sure that you're not bringing anger in, that you're okay, that you're sorted out, and everything afterwards is going to follow according to that. You're setting that tone. But if you come in sort of on the defensive, like the 7 of Wands type of energy, the other person has to meet you with that same defensive energy. So go in neutral, be clear and clean yourself, and then talk about what it is. Just say, I really care about you. It seems like you're stressed out. Is there anything I can do? At least you're opening up and acknowledging something's going on then. There was a beautiful portion at the end which kind of differentiated from the first part of the vision. So we'll kind of transition into that. I saw this next part of my vision was a dancer. And I was watching them. It was kind of like this interpretive dance. Maybe they were an ice skater. It really didn't matter. I just saw them moving around. And as I did that, I could see parts of their body where there were scars that were starting to heal. Like it was almost as if they were chameleon. They were changing their body or changing their skin. And I could see the back of them too. The back was exposed, and I could see all these sort of, they were, what I realized later, they were karmic scars that were healing. At first, I thought it was kind of grotesque. I'm like, am I looking at someone that is, are these scabs or what are they? And I actually saw that I was seeing through the body into the karmic scars, and they were healing from the inside out. And so I wrote two cards about these scars. One was, again, to focus on internal healing, and it's healing on a karmic level. And when we come into this life, sometimes we have experiences that we need to work through, maybe experiences about, being left as a child or being sort of not appreciated by loved ones. And that's from a previous life coming into this one. And sometimes what it does is kind of creates difficulties in our relationships in this lifetime. Sometimes we repeat the patterns. So because we're in a retrograde, In addition to all the crazy stuff, like the technology stuff I was just going through, you get a second chance. It's like the Eight of Cups card. You can break or make a cycle. So why not break some of these karmic cycles, heal and love yourself, and make the decision to yourself, I'm ready to move on. What I wrote next is really important. There's both a financial and also an emotional and energetic component to this, which is, what is your return on the energetic investment right now in any sort of situation? Do you feel like there's reciprocity, that it's balanced, that it's harmonious? Or do you feel like this is some sort of an investment where you're paying way too much in interest and not getting enough back? The person's taking a lot more than they're giving, or the situation, maybe it's a job, is taking a lot more from you than it's giving back. If it's that latter thing, then what's important for you is to really think about, why am I doing this? Is it a pattern? Is it something where I'm trying to fix something that doesn't want to receive, doesn't want to give back? And if that's the case, you kind of know what to do. You can let go of it. And so you get to make that choice. But the important thing for you to do first is to heal yourself. And there's another bit that came on this, which was, I got another message from the guides, which was, if some of you are working with insecurities, looking in the mirror and thinking, if, whatever it is, I'm too short, or I'm not skinny enough, or I'm not this enough or that enough. What they want you to do this month is really make sure that the emotional part of you is healed first before you do anything external. So especially for people that might be considering unnecessary surgeries like plastic surgery to try to augment or fix something, what I saw was healing from the inside out. I also think that non-traditional healing could be very effective this month, working with anyone that does pranic or energy healing, any sort of acupuncture or massage therapy. Of course, if your body resonates with that, if your doctor approves it. But I see that as a nice way to kind of get ahead of some of the more difficult things that you might be doing to your body. So take time to rest, take time to heal emotionally, talk to a therapist, maybe try some non-traditional, non-Western approaches towards healing. And you might see some sort of a spontaneous improvement with that. The emotional and the spiritual component are really, really important. So there was a lot of information coming through, jamming my frequencies this morning, just like it was turning my other computer on in the other room. And so I want you to kind of take your time, but if I can break it down one more time, venting is important. Find an outlet for your frustration or emotions. Clear your energy first, then try to clear the way between you and others. Focus on healing from the inside out. Don't put something to cover up whatever is going wrong. It's really a chance for you to break cycles, heal those karmic scars, and move forward. Then you're going to be able to see things clearly and think, am I getting a return on the energy? Is this worth my time and energy? And I want to end it with one final note, which was to avoid anything that stings. The last thing that I saw in the vision was a bee. And I think sometimes, I love bees. I love the bee emoji. But what can happen sometimes is it can be like the 10 of Swords. You can go in for a quick sort of something that makes you feel happy when you say it, but it hurts the person afterwards. So really weigh your words and think, is it worth that sting? Is there a way that we can just kind of meet in a higher place, go higher frequency? Bees and hummingbirds are high frequency anyway, but the sting element of like bees and scorpions kind of differentiates them. And there is that element, you want to be careful. And that's basically what I got. So a lot of information for the channeled message. And this is one of the things with people that are showing up in this room today. There are a lot of different messages for different people. I think I covered all of them there. And one thing as we saw today, do be prepared. I saw a lighter energy for you than I did for Sagittarius, but I did see a sort of mist around you. So what we're going to do is we're going to push the mist out. We're going to burn that fog away so that hopefully for the rest of this week, the rest of the month ahead, you're not going to have to deal with it. So that's my hope for both of us too. So we'll be clearing the fog, okay? At this point, I'm going to turn the camera down and lay out each and every card. I just ask that you remain quiet with me as I go through this, and I'll rejoin you in a moment and we'll talk about all the messages, okay? Thanks. By the way, thanks for everybody that is doing the super chats and super stickers. Like I said, I will put a special thank you when this video is live on replay afterwards. All right, everyone. Thank you for being patient. And let's take a look at the messages coming through, okay? By the way, I always get questions about the decks. This is the, I believe it's the Wildwood Tarot. It's on the link that Ryan posted. Okay, let's see what's coming through for you. So in your catalyst position, catalyst, of course, is the overarching connective thread for everything that we see. Also a way to avoid trouble. What we see here is a message about health that was reversed, so I want to just read it so that we can see it here. It says, I will honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul, basically taking care of your body, mind, body, and spirit. We have a lot of green energy associated, of course, with the heart chakra. This deck is also all about chakras, so I want you to really focus on opening up in this space, looking at things. This is the venting portion that I talked about earlier. If that heart area is kind of constricted, then you're not allowed to kind of see new opportunities. You're not opening up to all of the love and support around you. So we really want to, if there was a pressure cooker valve that needs to kind of be opened, it's right here. And we can focus on that again, maybe a little bit in the meditation, opening up the heart. I think the other thing for you is if there's any part of your mind or body that just is asking for you to take care of it, this is a time to go to the doctor and listen to that. Sometimes we all get busy with work, with stress, and we think, I don't have time, or my boss is going to get angry. No, they won't. If they do, it's still better that you take care of yourself than push yourself to the limit, and then you can't actually do what you used to do. So just know that your body is that divine vessel. Take care of it just like you would a treasured ring or something like that, like your wedding ring or something. You want to really take care of it. Okay, your center card here is Seven of Cups. It's in reverse, and the interesting thing with this one is we see that for some of you, it's about letting go of something in your life. For me, I normally wouldn't look at the Seven of Cups maybe in that particular perspective, but what this card is showing you is that there's something really worthy of your attention, and there's something, great opportunity on the horizon, but it's important for you to look at letting something go, moving away from something. And on top of this, it makes sense that this one is actually about, the card itself reads mourning. We have a death card right on top of it, really beautiful one. And this one is called the journey. And so for me, this is a journey of transformation. This journey of transformation is asking you to make a choice, right? Because sometimes the Seven of Cups is just about exploring opportunities. And for this one, you might be on a path where it is a dead end, or it's not giving you the sort of perspective that you hoped for. So you're going to release that. The card was reversed, so you'll let go of that. You'll move on to something else. And it's interesting, we've got a lot of lunar energy coming through with this as well. We have a very atypical card for the Hanged Man in the deep past. It's the Mirror. I double checked. It is basically the Hanged Man, but what we see in the distance is kind of like what is that? It's like in Egypt where you would send a body out into the ocean to sort of pass on. So this is sort of letting go of something and creating something new. This particular Hanged Man shows the moon here. It says the mirror, but it's like she's holding a mirror, she's holding the moon, she's looking through the things that frightened her, looking towards something now that she wants to bring into her life. So I think for you, at the beginning of the month, what March 2020 is asking for you to do is to face your fear, face something that needs to be released, needs to be healed. And the sooner you can work through that, the sooner the beautiful opportunities can open up. And we see that in hopes and fears here. We have the Star. We'll talk more about that in a moment. So there is something really great on the horizon that's waiting for you, but there is a sort of required change, a required shift that has to happen first. And as we look at your recent past here, we have the Queen of Bows or the Queen of Wands in this deck, and it's showing that prosperity is around the corner as well. Whenever I see a rabbit, that's definitely a sign of growth and movement and prosperity and abundance. Now this one is reversed, so there's a little bit of a delay, and I think this delay is as short or as long as you'd like, because many of you have already spent enough time to integrate the messages. That's why we see the Hanged Man in your deep past. And the two center cards are really just about making that choice to move on. It's hard, right? Whether it's breaking up with someone, quitting a job, deciding to stop something in your life, stop drinking or something like that. It's not that you don't know what to do. It's that maybe you don't know how or when to kind of make that change. And this is where you could lean on someone in your life for assistance and just say, I'm ready, but I'm having a hard time figuring out how to do this. Can you help me? Can you give me some guidance? So it could just be a close friend or relative. I just think it's important for you to have some support on this so that you feel like maybe you're not doing this all alone. Let's look at your crowning card, which is going to help you see what that mist is that I was feeling earlier. So we have the Five of Wands, and this is such an atypical Five of Wands. I'm going to pull it in the upright position. I like this deck because I'm picking decks over the next few days that have like a combination of light and dark because we need it in retrograde. And this one is showing us, it's almost like a cosmic dance here of ecstasy. You see this person saying, I'm going to have fun with what I'm doing. I may not be able to control everything, but I'm going to try to find the fun in the mundane. Because to me, the Five of Wands, I'm sorry, this is the Five of Cups. Five of Cups also can be a very frustrating card where any of the fives, Five of Wands, Five of Cups, and Five of Pentacles, they're sort of growth cards. And with this, it's saying, find the fun in every day. And so I think what's going to help you get through any task at hand is to try to focus on what's possible, what's positive. And because this is about emotions, what we see here in the past has to do with that ability to reflect upon things as a blessing. I talked with the last sign about how gratitude could be a vehicle for breaking through any shadow energy. Joy and ecstasy can also be another one, saying, I'm gonna celebrate what's here, what's now. I'm tired of all the tears, of all the difficulty. And so sometimes what I'll do in the morning as a mantra, mantras don't have to just be Sanskrit sort of prayers and, rote sort of renditions of things. You can also just repeat an affirmative thought. So I will think something like, we're going to make great progress today on this, or it's going to be an amazing day, or I can't wait to have some fun today. Nothing's happened, but I'm setting into motion the idea that it's going to be a really wonderful experience. And I also just make little mini decisions as I'm going through stuff. If someone gives me an attitude at the store, I think, well, they must be having a bad day. I'm not going to add to that. I'm going to redirect my energy. I'm so happy I'm not in that space. And so rather than getting in there and kind of giving attitude back, I try to just shift my focus to something else. And it's always little tiny decisions all along the way. So this is saying, go higher, choose higher, try to have fun. This can be the outlet: dance, music, art, all of those things that are part of, expression and inherent to cups would be great. But we're seeing dance here, so that might be something that's fun. Doesn't have to be professional. You could just decide to go out with your friends. Something like that actually constitutes a healing. So do it if it feels right. Looking in the near future, opportunities, we have the Four of Swords, sleep. And isn't it beautiful how we have that butterfly coming through as a part of the rest? I think in today's society, we see taking a vacation, taking a rest, taking a sick day as sort of like an admission that I can't do it or I'm not strong enough. This is saying you aren't going to be able to handle things if you don't take that break. And when you dream, wonderful information can come through. At the very least, your body can have that spontaneous healing that I was seeing too. So if you're just feeling like you can't do what you used to do, then make sure you're getting enough rest and do what you can to sanctify that sort of sleep area. Go in and get a new set of sheets if you haven't done that in a while. Buy a new comforter. Clear out all the clutter in your bedroom. Make it a nice, clear, open space so that even if you're just sitting there in bed, kind of with your eyes closed, you can meditate. I do that sometimes because I just need to clear the thoughts. That's still rest. It still constitutes, this kind of transformative rest and relaxation that you so desperately deserve and need right now. So take some time to do that. And I was talking to my mom earlier about what was important to, I think every day this month, we need to meditate because that's the only way we can kind of shift through some of the energy that's coming through right now, the retrograde. If you just every morning push out the shadow energy that's there, it's going to be okay. You'll be able to kind of bring it into something higher and brighter. And maybe one of these days I'll update my my smudging video, which is oddly enough old and very popular. One thing that I do that's a little different now is I make sure that I give everything a chance to go higher. So when I go through my house, I'll say, if there's anything that's not of a high frequency, please elevate and go back to your source. So it has a choice to just get out of my space or to go higher and then go somewhere better. I never just sort of banish. I always try to bring things up to a higher space. So as you're working with retrograde energy, shadows, and fears that come through this month, take a look at why it came through, what it's triggering in you, and how you can deal with it in a way that's not going to feed it. You want to starve the shadows or transform the shadows. You don't want to feed them with the same. We have a wonderful magician card here. It's reversed, but I want to pull it up right so you can see it. It's called the Shaman in this particular deck. And that kind of alludes to what I was saying with non-traditional approaches towards being healthy and happy this month. Meditating, getting a healing if you need it, really trying to see yourself as an alchemist, as someone who can go through things and shift them into a higher place. Definitely, if you haven't smudged in a while, you should do it. Incense, frankincense, sage, sound. I use that in the Virgo one. Maybe if I need to, I'll use the chimes here as well. There's so many different ways. I actually just bought a singing bowl, so maybe for the last couple of signs, I'll use those. So there's a lot of different ways to allow for healing to happen. Okay, so we're looking now at your environment. This is what's coming through as far as opportunities, possibly even blocks. We have the Ace of Wands in reverse. And with this, it's saying that you notice how in this deck, it's shown as a bow. And so basically the arrows are the action in this deck. They're like swords. So we almost have like an Ace of Wands and an Ace of Swords. Ace of Wands representing the idea, swords representing like taking action on that. So with the card reverse, it's really about that trigger point and saying, I'm ready to let go. And I love that metaphor because part of manifestation and being effective is also release. Aim, put the energy into it, let it go. So archery is a really good sort of metaphor for manifestation. And I think that's what you could think of this month is when you've put everything you can into something, then all you can do is let go and watch things happen and trust that the momentum is going to bring it there, that the velocity was enough. And then if not, you just pull another bow and you go again. Persistence and vision and practice is going to help you get there. So don't be afraid to take a couple of attempts to get as much rest as you need, and know that each time you come to the stage and try one more time, it's going to be a little bit more effective, okay? So that's something that you can kind of be more playful with and think, if at first I don't succeed, I'm just gonna keep trying. Very few people can be successful at anything out of the gate. So you have to just kind of keep practicing, and that's the message that came through on that. As far as opportunities go, we have the pole star, AKA the star. And I've done a few meditations this month about creating like your own constellation, your own canopy of light. I think what is interesting about some of the messages with leadership this month and with aligning to soul purpose is at times it can feel like you're alone. So we see someone here who's kind of walking towards their future, walking towards their strength. Sometimes the journey there can feel like it's isolating because you're trying something different. A lot of times the crowd is over here and an innovator is moving in this direction and saying like, no, this is the way to do it. Have you thought about this, this, or this? And so you have to kind of set things into motion, and you're the star, you're gonna light it up so other people can turn around and find you. But you have to believe in yourself. You have to stay on that path. There may be moments this month where you're feeling like, for some reason, no one's around me. It's because you're setting things into motion. So don't give up on what you're trying to do. Be persistent, try it a few times. There may be moments where you feel like you're not supported, but once you get to the end point, once you are the star, people have no way but to notice you. And there's a little bit of integration work to happen whenever I see the star card in reverse. It's really about allowing yourself to shine. Sometimes parents, friends, and other people in your life will say you can't do it or you're not good enough. And this is your chance to sort of own that internal strength and say, well, that's your belief. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's me. That doesn't necessarily mean that everyone agrees with you. And if you don't mind, I'd like to try this and see what the universe says. So give yourself a chance to put yourself out there, let the universe be the deciding factor, and tune out all of those otherwise negative energies that might be around you. Now we have the Six of Cups here. It's in reverse, meaning that there's a choice with this too. The card itself has the caption. It's hard to see because of the light here, but it says reunion. And for some of you, this could mean meeting with someone again that you haven't talked to in a while. Could also mean about, because we have a star card and the Six of Cups, a really divine partnership could be coming in. What's necessary, though, is walking away from something else first. So sometimes we hold ourselves back because of the comfort level that we have with the predictable. I talk about this from time to time. And I think for some of you, it could be, staying in a job, in a friendship or relationship when you're not getting that ROI, or in this case, ROEI, return on energetic investment. So this is a chance for you to take a look and think, is this worth it? And once you untether yourself to that, then all of a sudden, you're like a magnet pulling in something higher, brighter, and something that's attracted to what you're becoming, that bright light. So Six of Cups is saying, get back to something that you've lost also. So, when we're kids, we know what we want. We're programmed to be successful. But societal programming, or reprogramming as it were, sometimes comes in and messes up our code. And so part of what we'll be doing today is resetting your code. I'm going to write that down because I feel like it's important for you to get back to your original sort of coding, so that you basically, we're going to get out of all of the garbage that other people maybe have put into your mind, body, and spirit. Okay, let's expand the forecast now. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny, and get some additional perspective on what's coming through here. When we look at your mind, body, and spirit, your health card, basically, it's all about taking the lead. And this is what I was talking about here. So with the star cards, sometimes it's difficult to get ahead of things, but it's okay, because as you start to go on that journey, as you start to establish your voice, your vision, your thoughts, people will be attracted to that. You'll have a little bit more confidence as you move forward, and it's going to be worth that shift. We notice here that he goes from just sort of like an average person to the king. It's basically moving up the court cards, almost from like a page to a king, if you will. And the other thing that I see with this is to take the leadership angle when it comes to doing something proactive in your body or in your energy. So if something doesn't feel right, to listen to that. That was something that I got in the channeled message. Take care of yourself. Don't wait for someone else to notice. Say, I want this, or I'm going to do this, and do it for yourself. Just a couple of other notes. First of all, it's important to rest, as we said earlier. If you're feeling stuck in your life, or if there's anything stagnating in your body, that's something you do want to talk to a doctor about, because for me, the death card can sometimes show stagnation. Or an infection or something like that. And the same thing with the Hanged Man card. So there could be something where there's not enough movement, whether that's blood in your body or you just physically not moving enough. Definitely get that taken care of as soon as possible. Those are the main messages that I'm seeing with that. All right, so we just looked at health. Let's take a look now at your wealth card. And this is about magic and being sort of playful here. The card itself is fairies. But to me, whenever I see that, I think of magic and sort of the ability to shift things. And also, typically, if you think of this in sort of the like an Irish tradition, fairies can be troublemakers sometimes, right? We just saw that with my technology here. So I would say keep a really close eye on what's going on with your money this month, and making sure that things like receipts, anything on your bank website, or even just if you're trying to make a purchase this month, that everything is ironed out. Because I feel like when it comes to financial matters and any sort of contracts, it could be tricky. Personally, I usually don't worry that much about retrograde. This month, I'm paying very close attention to it with respect to stuff like that. It doesn't mean that things won't happen. It just means that you have a couple of failed attempts like I had this morning. You have to keep pushing through stuff. So just be prepared. With work and contracts, I think the biggest piece of advice I could give you is to buffer. Give yourself extra time. And just when you think everything's perfect, still give yourself a little bit of extra time to go through it. One thing that is nice on this one is a connection to nature, though. It says you have strong bond with magic, with fairies. Your life purpose involves helping Mother Nature. So for some of you, this is about kind of doing something that's sustainable or environmentally minded. So you may have decided that whatever you were doing before didn't have like a positive effect on the planet. So if you're trying to do something that helps people, well-being, or again, Mother Earth itself, which definitely needs a healing, there may be a great job opportunity or a great sort of personal growth opportunity, because this also has to do with your own energy with respect to helping the planet or doing something with the environment. Just getting outside can also give you a really great internal healing in your mind, body, and spirit. So even though that's in wealth, your health basically positively will affect your wealth. So you want to take care of yourself, take a vacation if you haven't already done that. It's a good time to do it. This message definitely resonates when we're looking at love. We have this beautiful card all about forgiveness, and it's the most important thing and the hardest thing to kind of accomplish sometimes. We all are that little kid, basically, that just wants a hug, that wants to be safe. And well, I kind of like that they're showing, what is it, a rhinoceros here? But this sort of ridiculously large animal, something that looks scary, but it has this soft side. So I think what you want to think about, since this card was reversed, is that appearances can be misleading, and someone that may kind of give off the impression rather, that they're kind of rough and gruff and they don't care about you, or they don't, a lot of times these people are projecting an image that, they can take care of themselves, when truly they're hurting on the inside. And if they lash out at you, rather than lashing back at them, stop for a second and say, are you okay? It's not necessarily what they're going to expect, and that can kind of shift the energy. So you want to meet someone with a more positive, a higher energy. You want to shift the focus a little bit, help them get to a place that they haven't maybe seen, support, forgive, move on. It doesn't mean that you have to forget what you've been through with a person, but it means that everything that's come through up until this point, it's been a lesson. You can dismiss it. I've been talking to all signs about this month. And that forgiveness actually heals both of you, because, I think we all speak from experience here. There's always been someone in our life, perhaps, where you've had this moment where you're angry at them, you hold on to this grudge. When you finally meet them and just you realize maybe they weren't as angry, or they've let go of it and you've been holding on to it. Once you kind of push through that energy, it's like the fog that we're going to lift. It just feels better, because it's holding you back from putting stuff into other things. When you're angry and you're holding a grudge, you're holding energy. That's really what it is. And it's toxic to you, and it's also toxic to them, especially if they are empathic. So consider healing that if you can. Your outcome card is really cool, actually. So what I'm seeing here, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Six of Swords here, but there's a divine feminine energy to this, which is about creation. And what we're seeing here is kind of moving away from something, allowing yourself to be pulled towards something that you really care about. And with this card being reversed, I feel like some of you are giving too much to someone or something. Perhaps you're a workaholic. Perhaps you're a hermit. You're not wanting to put any energy into anything. There's something here about balancing the scales that I see in your sign, even though, maybe some of you have some Libra energy that you need to balance out, or that's kind of what I'm seeing, is how can we get this into a place where what you're giving is what you're getting? So reciprocity for sure, and feeling like you're also being pulled forward with your passion, with what makes you happy. And this is where the opportunity is this month with the star. Do what makes you look forward to getting up in the morning, what makes you feel like when you leave this planet that you've made a difference. When we're kids, I think we already know, again, what to do. We're kind of like creatures of joy. We are then conditioned to sort of doubt that, fear that. And I've seen this with friends and other people in my life, where you can see someone that wants to go down a path, and then there'll be an adult that comes in and will say, well, you'll never be successful doing that. Or you can't do that because people will think this about you. I know I had people say that about me. And it's just sort of like, but I haven't even started my life. How do you know? So this is the Six of Cups. You're going to get back to knowing that it's okay. I can do it. This adult was just trying to kind of pull me into their drama or their trauma. Because notice how this is almost like a titan, bigger than life, and they're trying to pull you in. So you're going to let them go, let them live their own life. Move forward, be that inner child, find that Five of Cups dance of ecstasy that we see here, and start to celebrate your own path, become the star, basically, okay? Let's do a quick review, and then we're gonna move on to the ever important soul work. And this is where we're gonna look at how to help with self-love, healing, and forgiveness, how to work on maybe reclaiming that piece that was taken away, and really to focus on balance for your sign, that return on your sort of energetic investment. So let me turn the camera down again one more time, talk through everything, then we'll get to the next portion. All right, so let me just pull these back in order. Okay, so the first thing that we talked about was to find a way to vent, to release pent up energy and emotions. We saw that actually could take the literal form of dance. It could be some artistic expression as well that you would think of when you see cups, painting, writing, drawing, but also movement. It's really important this month. The other thing that's important for you is to focus on internal healing. The healing has to start inside, and then that's going to eventually work outside. So this is going to give you a chance to get through any sort of karmic scars that you have. And then once you've done that, you can clear your own karma, and you can also release karmic bonds that you have with other people in your life. So for some of you, this could be a breakup. We've got the death card at the center. All of this is to give you more reciprocity. And I kind of wrapped up with saying, avoid the stinging words. I mentioned the bee. I think that the bee is something that's really powerful, but you have to be careful with how you use your voice, your authority, your gifts this month, because it could go in a way that, basically you have some regret if you don't choose the right timing and the right way to say it. In order to be successful, happy, and balanced this month, your health needs to take center stage. It's reversed. Without health, you're not going to have wealth, you're not going to have happiness, and your destiny is in question. So health is the most important thing. It came through as your catalyst. We have a card here that would normally be showing choices, but we actually see the caption on it says mourning, and it's actually about releasing a choice or a person or a thing in your life, or making peace with the loss of something, because then we have a death card on top of it. And it doesn't surprise me with those two that there might be a sense of heavy energy, heavy emotional energy with the Hanged Man as well. A very lunar or moon type energy in this Hanged Man. So remember that you need to know what you want, where you want to go. I talked about the Two of Wands. This particular Two of Wands is actually holding that sort of globe, that crystal ball for the future. But it also is about a mirror, looking at the past, understanding where you've come from so you can get there. And now focusing on, with the Queen of Wands, I didn't mention this because this is such a different illustration of this, but there is a sort of subtext on this one to kind of mind your own affairs and manage your own life first and foremost, and then only help when asked, because that's going to help you be more abundant, stay in that place of growth, personal growth. It's really about internal work, internal management this month. So you don't need or have to help everybody else. It's better to focus on yourself. And also, again, that heart energy needs to have a way to sort of ventilate and be released and relieved. Five of Cups, we talked at great length about that earlier. Be happy, celebrate what's possible. Don't give too much energy into what you've lost or what's gone away. Know that this is making way for what we see here, the star. Sleep, rest, and downtime is important. Have a day where you don't do anything, quote unquote, productive. Just rest, be still, and receive messages. You are the magician, the shaman. You can create changes in your life. You can even have a sporadic healing of some magnitude this month, whether it's healing karmic scars or perhaps even getting further ahead in your own health and wellness goals. Practice makes perfect, and that's really the message with the Ace of Wands this month. And that's important to getting to your dream. You're not going to basically be successful or hit it out of the gate the first attempt. What's most important as we look at these two cards side by side is to get back to you, what you love, what you want, what that part of you that you kind of lost. And this is a theme that I've seen definitely come through a few times in 2020. But for you, it's celebrating that past, that childhood, getting into the energy of the Six of Cups, which is irreverent, which is playful, which is explorative, which is passionate. Let this kind of adult energy go away. It's not helping you. It's too practical. It's pulling you back from the possibilities. Take the lead when it comes to your health. Also know that making change is sometimes a little lonely, but eventually once you become that person that everyone wants to listen to, it's worth the ride, it's worth the journey. For your wealth card, again, being playful is key. We've got the fairy card, so I think of working your magic with this, but I also think about being careful because if you think of a Shakespeare play or again, sort of mythology, fairies can be a little tricky sometimes. Even Tinkerbell, right? She caused trouble. So you want to be careful and really make sure that the people with whom you work or do banking or business with, that you are on the same page. And this is where I do think you want to take ownership and management of those affairs. If you need to let go of some relationship, you can do that as well if it makes sense. This month is really about equaling the scales, and part of that involves healing and forgiving people in your life. I should say forgiving brings about the healing. It's hard sometimes. The person may not even be alive. A lot of times after someone's passed, we're still working through the karmic energy. But what I saw with that dancer in my dream, and it's interesting that we saw the dancer at the top here, was that the dancing and I think the forgiving creates the healing within your karmic energy, within your auric field. And that's how things start to improve for you. And then say goodbye to this overwhelming energy. It's like divine feminine energy. It could be a mom, an aunt, or a boss that kind of is pulling at you, kind of like Poseidon trying to pull you into their emotional chains. You don't need that. You're stronger than that. You're going to, like the Six of Swords, sail away from that. And like the Death card here, start a new journey, a new beginning. This is one of my favorite cards because it's really not about looking at some scary sort of future. It's just about a new choice, a new beginning. Everything that stops allows you to open a new door. So maybe one day there'll be a deck where you see like a revolving door, because that to me is also death and reincarnation. So there we go. It's a very interesting month, a lot of transformative energy, a lot of choices for you. It's going to be really important here as we take a look at what we can focus on transforming for self-love, healing, and forgiveness. So we're going to look at past, present, and future, and move forward. Thanks again to my moderators for keeping this space safe. I appreciate you. All right, we're going to look at past influences. So we have Knight of Cups, and we have the Eel card, which is really interesting for this. First of all, I don't care. I don't mind looking at snakes in symbol, sort of symbolic energy. It really shows strength and opportunity and flexibility. But when we see it in the reverse, what I can see for some of you is that some of the emotions have kind of slipped past you, or you've pushed them under the surface. And what we have to do this month is look at the things that scare you, look at the things that have hurt you, and let it go, release it. Whatever it was. Again, if somebody said something wrong, if they left you, if you just couldn't forgive yourself for doing something, we'll focus on forgiveness when we meditate, because there's a little piece of that that's stuck with you that's still under the surface. We want to take that and transmute it so that you're just open and you're feeling the power of the King of Cups, which is really expression and happiness. All right, as we look at present energies that are bringing opportunities here, we have the Eight of Pentacles. And for many of you, this is about deciding to work on yourself. The card was reversed. So this is really about maybe returning to something, going back to school, getting a GED, deciding maybe to learn something that your parents never would let you learn, or just taking time for yourself, reading a book, watching something that you want to watch on television. It's personal investment, but there usually is learning or expansion as a part of this. Notice the hand on the wall there. What I'm seeing is that for many of you, this is an opportunity for you to reach new people. So if you do something artistic, writing, composition, dance, art, this is something that's worth that, and it has a message that's going to be able to reach out. It also shows me that help is right around the corner. You're going to have to take the lead on that, just as we saw with your health card. Like, I feel like you can make anything happen, but you're going to be the one that's doing it. So don't be afraid to focus. This card being reversed usually shows that not everything is worth your attention. So stay focused. And I think that's key. All right, looking at the future, what's possible if you do all of these things. So we have the World, and I saw someone talking about publishing there. This is a great card for that, but it's the World reverse, which means the delay is over. And yeah, this could mean self-publishing. This also, for many of you, means that it's time to make that change. We got two really big change cards. We have Death and the World. Death is releasing something, and this is a different type of release. This is deciding to announce, kind of get out of this maze. Look at this, right? This reminds me of, I talked about Inception before. I remember when she was asked to do a more difficult maze, Ariadne created the circle maze. So some of you have been in this sort of, it feels like you've just been running in circles, right? Not being able to get maybe graduation, make that happen, not being able to finish a project, not being able to get to the next level in a relationship, hitting a sort of brick wall when it comes to health. This is a breakthrough month, but I do feel like part of that involves looking at it from a different angle, talking to someone else, trying something different. And then finally, for those of you that have done all of the required work, particularly if it's a project, skill, or craft, letting go, just like we saw with the Ace of Wands here. This is your chance to really release and share it with the world. And the fact that we've got the Star in the World, even though they're reversed, they're still really good cards. This is your chance to step out into the spotlight. So the World card can be release, as in I'm releasing the pain. Release, as in I'm releasing this project, publication, distribution, etc. It can also be moving to the next level, a physical move. No matter how you slice it or dice it, this is moving on, moving up, moving out, letting go. It's the best card. It's the last card. And it's really about integrating all of the energy starting from the Fool leading up to this. So my question to you, and it's more of a rhetorical one, I should put it this way. It's not, are you ready? It's when are you ready? Because the door is unlocked. You have to open it though. You have to take that moment to sort of say, I'm ready. So yes, that's your meditation this month. When am I ready? Because there's not much holding you back anymore except the decision at the center. I want to move on. I need to move on. The decision to celebrate what you can do, to focus on what matters, to keep practicing, to step into your truth, to release that sort of pushback that you got from society, parents, or something else, to forgive yourself, maybe even for the fact that it's taken so long to get there, and then just to move through that doorway, to move through that portal. Okay? Let's meditate. Let's make this happen. Let's lift the light, lift the fog and bring in the light. All right. I hope you can all stay. As I said, this is kind of like Shavasana in yoga. It's going to bring through all of the pieces that we've done. If you have to leave, my moderators usually put a link to this afterwards, so you can check it out in the replay version and go straight to it and replay it as much as you want, okay? So with that being said, let's close our eyes right now. Take a moment. I want you to imagine that you're at the tree, actually. So I'll give you the visual here so that you can kind of see yourself there, not in the maze, maybe on the other side. You've come through the maze, you're on the other side of the tree, and you're going to lean against that tree of life. All right, together, let's take a nice deep breath. I want you to scan your physical body first, and if you're holding on to any stress in that body, this is your chance to let it go. And one of the cool things with trees in particular is they're kind of like this lightning rod. You can send the energy into them and they'll ground it for you. So, or I should say a grounding rod. They're going to take what you don't need and dissipate that. They can also help you connect with the sun above. So we're going to use the tree in both sort of circumstances. So put your back against the chair or the couch or whatever, feel the support and imagine that that's the tree. As you breathe in, whatever part of your body is feeling a little bit of stress or discomfort, pull the energy in to that part of your body and then send what you don't want into the tree, into the trunk, and imagine that the roots are going to push it into the ground. So let's breathe together. Inhale. Hold it for a second. Really allow for the energy to move through your body and go to the place or places that need to be healed. On the exhale, melt into the tree and send that pain, that discomfort, that energy into the trunk. Not being afraid to really breathe, because breathing is actually what's going to allow for the energy to move through your body. Taking a moment to stretch up, maybe literally stretch your hands and imagine that they are the branches and the leaves and you're pulling up towards the sky. And I think what we're gonna go towards is sunrise. So imagine that it's the very end of night, just approaching dawn, and you can see the sun on the horizon, and one ray of light shines on the tree, and you're just drinking in that beautiful light like a beacon of hope, of optimism, of power. I want you to pull that energy into your top crown chakra, through the tree, through the leaves, and take a nice deep breath. Inhale. And now allow it to move through your body, imagining that your legs are just like the roots. You're going to send that into the planet, give it an offering of love, of peace, of hope. Send that to the heart of the planet as well, allowing Mother Earth to feel that you care about her, that you're going to do something to take care of her, whether it's clean up some trash, plant a flower, or just do something nice for the planet. Give a little bit back to her, allow her to support and protect you. Take another deep breath. And now you can sit down against the tree, and we're going to move up towards the sun here in a moment. We have to do a few things first to allow for this release of the past. I want you to think of the person, place, or thing in your life that seems to be tethering you. Imagine that you are a boat that needs to sort of take off, but there's something that's tugging at your energy. Think of who that might be or what that might be. And if it's hard right now, just imagine that whatever it is, we're going to release it with this meditation. But for those of you that can especially see what it is, I want you to, first and foremost, forgive yourself for having this connection, because some of you are too hard on yourselves. Maybe forgive the other person for also holding you back. And now think to yourself, I have the power. I've always had the power. I just needed to take aim and release this person. So it's kind of like the bow here. You're going to send the energy that you don't need back to them. And you're also going to receive from them any energy that you've given. And in this moment, where you say these words in your head or out loud, I release you, I release you. Really say it, really feel it. Take a deep breath. On the exhale, really release them, mind, body, and spirit. And feel that you are untethered. Nothing's holding you down. Nothing is holding you back. Nothing is weighting you down either. In this moment, you have buoyancy. You can kind of bounce energetically up or down or back or forth. You have freedom. You have will. And in this moment, I want you to imagine like the journey card. You're going to take that step in the new direction. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And now see, as you're looking just past the rising sun, there's still a star in the sky. Sometimes you can see the moon or the star, a star, maybe like the North Star. This is you, though. This is your higher self. I want you to tune into that energy and allow it to come to your heart, just like the sun shined on the tree a moment ago, and connect with you. And then as you take this next breath, I want you to travel through that beam of light to the star itself, traveling at light speed or faster than light speed. Inhale and move through this star beam. Inhale. Feel that you are now connected with your higher self. As you exhale and look back, you can see that tiny little dot, which is the Milky Way, which is planet Earth, which is our solar system. Exhale and release this feeling of being limited by yourself, by others, by society, by opportunities that were or weren't provided for you. And sit for a moment in your power. Think, I have the capacity, I have the energy, I have the wherewithal to do anything. I've lived many, many lives. I'll live many, many more. Now I'm going to own my cosmic energy and start to create. I'm going to become the star. Now see that little human body way down there, that little tiny point of light, and I want you to reconnect with it. And like a lightning rod, you're going to give it an energetic upgrade. Each and every cell, each and every thought is going to be infused with this beam of energy, this beam of light from your higher self. Inhale and really breathe deeply this time. And send that light, that insight, that ancient knowledge through the star beam back to your body where it's still receiving, and integrate. Looking at the past, looking at that thing that maybe has held you back, that was represented by the eel. Whatever it is, I want you to reach into the past and hold it for a moment. And I want you to integrate with that shadow, send light into it, upgrade it, and see it transform into something else, from the eel or from the snake into a flower, into a butterfly, into a hummingbird, something beautiful, something bright. Inhale. Exhale, see it leaving your hands. See your heart space opening up even brighter, becoming that star, the same intensity as the star that is your higher self. Moving into the energy of the 8 of Pentacles. What is it that you want to develop? What is it that you want to create? Maybe you realize now that it's already ready for delivery. You've just been holding on, the Hanged Man. If this is the case, let it go with this breath. Inhale. Exhale, thinking, I am ready, I am complete, I am a good match for anybody in this life. They would be happy to have my time, my energy, my skills. I am worthy. Really accepting the energy of 8 of Pentacles, which is worth, which is knowledge, which is skills. And now moving back into your body, into the tree, looking around you and thinking, I am that world tree. I have become all that I needed to. I'm ready for the gateway. I'm ready for the door. And there actually is a door on this tree. So I want you, just like, imagine like a hobbit tree or something like that. You're going to go through the portal. And whatever you want to be on the other side, see that sort of beckoning you, I should say, on the other side, a beacon of light. So walk through and open up that door in the trunk of the tree and travel to the new dimension, the new version of yourself. And take a deep breath, feeling like I'm on that path. This journey has begun. Inhale. Let go of fear, doubt, or uncertainty, or trying to control how or when that's going to happen. And now gently open your eyes and welcome back. Thank you again to my moderators for helping me. I can see we have someone here that's been a little crazy, so thank you so much. So what I'd like you to focus on next is really allowing yourself to step into this power. Again, this Ace of Wands energy that we were seeing here in the environment is so important. This is really about realizing that it is practice that makes perfect. Also, that perfection is overrated. And for those of you that are artists or are creative types, the world tree is really showing that you pretty much are ready, that you're on that journey. So if you've done something, you've gotten it to that point, you think I'm ready to release it, release it. If you're ready to quit a job and start something new, then it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And in relationships this month, I think it's that moment of growth or release. Are you going to go to the next level? Are you going to forgive? Are you going to get married? Or are you going to move on and look for something higher and brighter? The energy of the star and the Six of Cups. There's choices in your sign this month. Despite my Mercury retrograde experience at the beginning, I really don't feel the energies heavy for you. One last thing that we can do is take a breath and imagine that we're going to bring some of that starlight that's in your heart space now. And if there's any cloud of energy around you, I want you to push it up and away and just think, I'm ready for change. I'm ready for a new tomorrow. Inhale. And just like the sun would burn off the fog, if there's anything that's around you karmically, energetically, etc., just push it away, burn it off, transcend and transform. See yourself in this beautiful golden sphere of light that you've created, okay? Thanks, guys, so much for allowing me to be a part of your journey. Thanks for being patient as the computer in the other room was talking. Again, Mercury retrograde, we're all a part of that. But listen, that's what this is about, transformation, shifting and moving, not giving into shadow energy. For those of you that were kind enough to support me today with any of the super chats, I just want to say thanks. If you'd like to do it while I'm doing the closing here, you can choose that icon, and I do appreciate you. I want to say how you can get involved and kind of connect with me first. A great way to learn about news, information, if you want to book an appointment. All of my information is basically here. It's nicholasashbaugh.com. I know both Maria and Ryan have posted links, so feel free to follow that. There'll also be links posted under the video when it's on replay. If you haven't followed me on Instagram, I'd love for you to do that. I post reminders and countdowns to any of the live videos that I have. Also, cute pictures of Apollo, who's patiently sitting here, and he partook of that meditation with us. But I have a picture of him resting as I was meditating this morning. I'm also on Facebook, obviously on YouTube. They're all the same usernames. That's just my full name on Facebook and YouTube. Patreon is another way to give back, as is channel membership. And there's two different ways you can support me on YouTube. It's kind of confusing because they sound similar. Hitting the subscribe button is free, and I'd love for you to do it. It's a great way to show that you like what you see. Costs nothing. If you want to do a little bit extra, you can do join, and join will allow you to give on a sort of regular basis. And that's optional, but you get extra emojis, and I ask like poll questions for you, and sometimes Q&A. Get a little bit more access for that. If you just want to do a one-time contribution, you can use PayPal, and that's another way. Finally, Twitter is a great way to connect with me and get reminders of what's coming through, and again, when I'm going live. Thank you so much to everybody that showed up today. I know it's a holiday for many people here in America. Everybody else that came from across the world, thank you for taking the time to, again, do the work on yourself. This is going to be a good month. March is great for you, but there are some choices. There are some things that need to happen. And one moment here while we push away some of this negative energy. Realize that I just gave an hour of time to you, so I'm just allowing for you to get back if you want to. So we'll ignore that comment. Thank you so much for being here, for shining your light, and I hope you enjoyed the meditation. Lots of love from me to you. Take care of yourselves, and I'll be back later this week to wrap up with both Aquarius and Pisces. So I hope to see you then. Much love and light. Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.